Alright, so today we're going to be going over a MacBook Pro Retina that doesn't turn on. This is an 820-4924. Let's try to see if we can get an idea of what's going on here. So, it gives me a light in the charger, but the fan doesn't spin, which tells me that PP3V42 must be present. So we're just going to continue on and look around this board over here for a little bit. Okay. Let's unplug some of the stuff that doesn't have to be plugged in for this. Put this on my side table here. Get this on the other monitor so I can see what you see. Beautiful. Nice flickering $80 Acer monitor that I'm now using, so I don't have to. I can see what you see. That's the studio here. Let's take a look at this board. Okay, where is our liquid? You tell me when you see the liquid damage, all right? I only got a little bit of water. How did it fuck up with only a little bit of water? Everybody has to stress how little water they got in. It's dead. I mean, like, you can lie to yourself all you want about the amount of whatever you got in there, but it is dead, so does it really matter? Does it really matter that you make sure that I know just how little water you got in there? Clearly you got enough in there to make it fucking dead, so it doesn't matter. I would love to see like the Dwayne Johnson from the 90s do customer service on these. It was only a little bit. It doesn't matter how much water you got, think you got in there. Oh man, I would pay good money to see that. How much water do you think you got in there? Just a little. It doesn't matter how much money do you think you got in there. All right. So we have this area over here, disgusting. This area over here, disgusting. And this area over here, disgusting. Also that. So let's just, I'm going to create this split view so that you can see my screen in addition to the microscope and open broad. Okay, so now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to browse around. Oh, that is some slow-ass bullshit. Seriously? What is that, like 1 frame per fucking second? Hello. That's horseshit. What the fuck, Open Broadcaster? Oh, I get it, since I'm trying to capture the screen at the same time, and the screen capture is still fucked up to the point where it only gives me a few frames per second. It's now actually... Oh, that is lame as hell. Seriously? See, when I go to the microscope capture, it's fluid. When I go to screen capture, I get this bullshit. This too... Look, and it's not even the CPU limitation. I'm using 12% CPU down here, as you can see, and the fucking mouse is moving. Look at this. This never used to happen before. What the fuck did I do? But now if I try to do this, oh, that is some painfully slow video. That sucks. That fucking sucks. All right, let's try window capture. Sure you wish? Yes, I do. Screw that. That's bullshit. All right, let's try window capture. Window capture Landrex. And we're going to choose the TestLink Landrex window. Capture cursor. Okay. Okay, that seems to be a little bit better. But we're going to put the StarTech card above that. And bam! Here we go. Okay, it's a little bit more inconvenient, so if I want to show you the schematic, I have to always open this shit and click back and forth, which sucks. But for now, this will do. Until I figure out why Open Broadcaster's being an asshole. No, no insults towards Open Broadcaster. It's free and does amazing stuff. I've donated $100 to it. I should donate some more. It's good software. It's just sometimes it drives me nuts. So we have this area over here. And let's check out what that is on the board view. Okay, so this nasty area here is DC in voltage sense. Oh, I don't give a fuck about sensors right now. Apple is obsessed with knowing the exact voltage and current and blah of every single little part of the computer. And the only one that really matters to me when it doesn't turn on is current sensing on a hardware level, not on the software level where, does OS 10 get to know what voltage we are? I mean when the ISL6259, the chip that actually controls the charger, wants to know how much current we're using. That's the only time I really care. Let's see what else is nasty. So we got this nasty stuff over here, and that's for sensing backlight output voltage. This thing's not even turning on. Backlight can suck it. This over here is backlight PWM for the keyboard. Oh my, I don't give a shit about that right now. You don't even turn on. Backlight current sensing resistor. Don't care about that. The computer doesn't turn on. So again, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to ignore all the shit that doesn't matter. I'm trying to figure out what does matter. Because this is important. This is worth mentioning. This board is highly populated. It has a lot of different components on it, a lot of different circuits. If I try to figure out what's going on with every single one at once, my brain is just going to explode. So what I try to do is I try to break it down into sections, and I want to figure out which section is the section where there's too much stuff going on in this board for me to actually go over the entire thing. So what I do is I try to break it down into sections. And what I do is I want to figure out which section is most relevant to the problem that I have right now. So if I see that there's corrosion on the USB circuit and I'm troubleshooting no backlight, USB can suck it. We'll figure out USB later. Let's focus on what we're focusing on right now. Let's break it down into small blocks so that we can then try to make those small blocks make sense rather than look at a 72-page schematic and try to keep that in the buffer in our brain all at once. So I'm going to try, let's see what we can do to make this make sense. Before we do that, I'm going to get myself some more of this really good blueberry juice. This stuff is, every now and then I treat myself. Every now and then. It's not every day because this shit's expensive, but I'll buy a container of almond milk, which isn't that expensive. It's like $5. And I'll get this, and I'll get like 4 or 5 things of blueberries, and those things are fucking expensive. It's like $6. But oh man, it's such a nice dessert. And I'll put I'll put all the blueberries in there with the container of almond milk, and it is better than sex. That's too damn good, man. Too damn good. It makes an excellent dessert. Absolutely excellent dessert, except for when the straw gets stuck. Ah, amazing. What a dessert. Okay. Back to work here. Back to work. Man, that is good. That is good. PP3V42 capacitors. Let's switch back to my scene that I created here. Alright, so we have some corrosion by a capacitor from between PP3V42 and ground. I don't give a fuck about smoothing right now. I have PP3V42 anyway, so this is totally irrelevant. It's not like it's shorting anything. It's not really. Okay, here we go. What's that? And that is for, what's that area? A clock signal. This is the clock chip. Sysclock Gen. Well, gee. Do we want corrosion on the clock chip? A lot of people think that the clock chip is for setting the time, and they'll go, well, I don't care about setting the time right now. How do you think all these chips actually know to work? The way a clock works in most computers is this chip. Think of it like, let's see. Think of it like a political debate that doesn't have a moderator. It doesn't work because everybody just starts screaming at one another all at the same time and nobody actually gets to make a point. The way a political debate works, when it makes sense, when it's actually something that people can listen to and learn from, this person gets to talk, then this person gets to rebut, then this person gets to rebut, then this person gets to talk. Somebody says you get this much time to talk, then you get this much time to talk. And computers work the same way. Often you have a clock, and it'll be a much, much faster clock. You'll have a 32 kilohertz clock or a 25 megahertz clock. The whole idea is the clock is there to say you can talk now. Now you can talk. Now you can talk. Now you can talk. Now you can be a CPU. Now you can be a processor. That's whatever the hell it is that they're doing. Very oversimplified explanation. Without a clock circuit, it's not that the computer's not going to tell time. It's that it's not going to work at all. So you need a clock, or else none of this is going to work. Now that clock from that chip, that goes directly to the PCH and the CPU, which is responsible for many of the PM sleep signals, that, like PM underscore sleep underscore S4 underscore L and PM underscore sleep underscore S3 underscore L, which are going to tell the computer, wake up from an S4 state, wake up from an S3 state, allow these power rails to turn on and work, and without those signals being present, nothing's going to work. And the clock chip is needed for that. So there we have something that's relevant. But with that said, let's continue going through our board and see if we can find anything else that's relevant to our issue. Ugh. What the oh, that's gross. Okay, this is obviously very relevant. Very relevant over here. Let's figure out what that is. What's that? U7870. Okay, so what's going on with U7870? What is your purpose? Well, now we have to go over to the schematic, and oh, this is gonna suck. All right, this is where I have to go and open Broadcaster and tell it to change over to the. I miss screen capture. I liked it when screen capture worked. I think it was so cool when screen capture worked. Now I have to set it to view the PDF reader. And here we go. Capture cursor. All right. So where were we? We were at U7. No. Fuck. Where was I? What was I doing? I'm looking at a clock chip on a motherboard that's not the same as the one that's on the table. Okay, what do I have in the microscope? That would be a good hint. Okay, what the hell is that? Alright, so let's go over to the board view. I'm on a board view for an air. It's no good. Is this the board view for the... This is another board view for an air. That's no good. Another... Aha. Okay, I was looking at U7870. Okay, I lost track of this there. So U7870 on the Retina, what board is this? This is an 820-4924. Just looking at U7870. Here we go. What is this thing's purpose? This thing takes 3.3 volts and turns it into 1.5 volts. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's important. So clock circuit looks messed up, and this looks messed up. And this is an SO rail, so PP1V5 SO. What does that go to? What is the point of that? That's used by the CPU. So the CPU thinks that's important. I kind of want my CPU to turn on now, don't I? So this, yeah, I mean, do you even have to measure this? I mean, like, would you even bother taking out a multimeter? I wouldn't bother taking out a multimeter. It seems like a complete waste of time. Let's get our air filter on. You don't want to inhale any of this shit? Let's get a donor board and get to work. By the way, I'm not using the board view for this model board. I'm using the board view for an 820-3476 because there is no board view released for the board that I'm actually working on. You may be wondering, Lewis, you work on Apple products, right? Can't you just ask Apple for a board? Yeah. Nice fantasy world you live in. No. It's supposed to be hard. What are you, new to this channel? You don't understand how it works? You're not allowed to have any of this stuff. It doesn't really matter, though. That's the thing. Like, it makes it harder, but that's a big part of what actually inspired this channel. I mean, I know that I know that it's difficult, and I know that they go out of their way to make it difficult, but that's why I go out of my way to make it easy for other people. So for every bit of effort and time that they put into making it harder for you to fix motherboards, I'm going to put effort in to make sure that it's easier for all the people who watch this stuff to fix motherboards. And hopefully I'm doing a bit more to make it easy than they are to make it hard. But that's the idea. I get a kick out of it. Really liking this monitor right in front of the microscope. I can see exactly what you guys see. It is some cheap flickering Acer that I bought in 2011, but it does the job. I'm happy with the job that it does. I mean, if it was like a regular, a monitor that was actually important, I wouldn't be, but this is not. It's good to keep this stuff. My receptionist calls me a pack rat. I don't throw anything away. I have all these monitors here for like shipping workstations and stuff from when I ran the screen supply company, and wow, that was some awful soldering. That was bad. Don't do as I just did. Yeah, I have all these monitors and all these like crappy like Core 2 Duo Lenovo's from 2006 from all these different ideas that I had that failed. I'm glad I kept them around. They come in handy for things. Okay, let's get rid of all that excess. See, one of the big the reasons I include all these mistakes instead of editing them out and redoing them, because I know that people are going to make them. Like, when I have people here for the tutoring, right? I'll have people here that come for the motherboard repair tutoring, and they'll fuck up and put too much solder on a pad, and man, they will go, if I'm go to lunch or something and I come back, it'll be 20 minutes and they'll still be trying to get a perfect amount of solder on that center pad. They think it has to be so artfully perfectly done. What, are you kidding me? No, if you have too much solder, you shove your shit in there and then you can clean it off later. Just get what's important done. Just getting it on the board and flat. Like so. As long as you push down, you know you made some good flat contact, you're good. Solder jumps out the side, add some flux and clean it up. Not a big deal at all. I want you guys to watch this and understand what is and is not a big deal. Everybody's going to screw something up, especially if you're new. It's realizing that your screw-ups are not fatal that will make you efficient. And that you're caring too much about the wrong things. Spending 20 minutes to get the exact amount of solder, if you're a beginner, on the center pad is not important. Because by then your brain is going to be worn out for the things that actually matter, like figuring out what's wrong with the system. I think that guy lied too. This isn't even, he said water. Pretty sure this is wine. Let's get rid of that. Scrape away the wine. Okay, now we go up to that area with the clock chip. Do I trust that clock chip? Also, oh, another thing, by the way, I know what some people are thinking. It's, well, you're not using the scientific method. Don't you want to know exactly what's wrong? Like, why are you replacing multiple things at once? Because now you're never going to know if it was the clock chip or the PP3V3 to PP1V5 chip. And you know what? I don't care. If you want to be... what's the word? If you want to be efficient at this, you want to be efficient at solving liquid damage, where you have a board that has a 72-page schematic with hundreds of thousands of little components on it. You want to be efficient at that. You have to get rid of the water damage. You have to make it like the water wasn't there. As quickly as you can. Right? And that means I'm not going to stop and measure and turn things on with every single step. I'm just going to try to make it look like the water wasn't there. Once I'm done with that, I keep in mind what looked bad, what was worked on, and go from there. You have to be efficient with this because again, there's thousands of components in this little board. There's so many. It's about condensing the amount of time you put into it so that you don't become mentally fatigued or exhausted. I spend a lot of my day trying to come up with little ways to ensure that I don't become mentally fatigued or exhausted. Because once you become mentally fatigued or exhausted, it's all over. This will all start to... Hi. Somebody just walked in. Okay, back to work. So, correcting that mess. What a mess that is. As long as it's flat on the board, this works. If it's not flat on the board, then you're kind of screwed. Because it won't make a good connection. You can always correct these little things. And then we just go around the parts that had some corrosion. Some like this stuff over here. Turn on the hot air. Let's see if we have any progress. So I'm going to plug it in, and this is the newer model where the fan doesn't spin when the machine first turns on. So the way I tell if it's just turned on, since the fan doesn't spin, is I measure V-core. If I get CPU V-core, I assume that it's turned on. So if I get CPU V-core here, well, yay! It works. Pretty cool. And the fan actually did start spinning, which is interesting, because usually they don't. That is interesting. The fan usually doesn't spin when this comes on. Maybe there was an EFI update or something. It's possible there was. Maybe Apple figured out that that the fan should spin on a computer that has a powerful processor when you turn it on. Hey, that's something I've been suggesting in the past few videos, but what do I know? So, hopefully you learned something. Hopefully that was somewhat informative, and hopefully you will be able to fix something as a result of watching these videos. Thank you very much, and that's it for today.